Hello and welcome to the skating lesson. I'm Dave Lees.
And I'm Jonathan Byer. Hi, Dave.
Hi, I think we're on opposite sides today. I don't know even how to fix it. So we're just going to go with it. It's opposite day here on the skating lesson. We're doing it on a Monday. Welcome to This and That. We're going to discuss all things going on in the skating world right now. I'm Dave Lees. This is Jonathan Byer. If you are new here, please subscribe below and smash that like button. My computer is in the shop, everyone. And it's, you know, I don't like to be without control for a long period of time. And, you know, it's hard. It's, yes, it's challenging. Yeah.
What was going on with your computer?
My computer's just been having a battery issue where it shuts off intermittently. So I'll be like doing something and then it goes.
See, I feel like yours would be on fire from like you like writing everything so fast.
Yeah, but I don't know. I use my phone. It was just having an issue. It's only a year and a half old. It's under Apple Care. So, and it's funny because I sent it to another place because I'm like, you know, the last time during COVID, it took forever to get it back. I'm like, we can't, oh God, it's just like the stress of being like,
yeah, exactly. One more thing. Yeah.
And the guy who took it in, I said, he wasn't really paying attention to me when I was talking to him. And he kind of had some attitude towards me as I was, you know, giving it. And he couldn't even like, he was like, say your password. And I was like telling him he spelled it wrong 3 times. I had to write it for him. And then he's like, oh, you know, it was like,
it's like he's not even a real genius.
It wasn't. So, and then you get like a text message by him, like so they have 3 days, 2 days later, he texts me and he's like, your battery's fine. And I'm like, well, it's obviously not fine if it's shutting off intermittently. And he goes, oh, we didn't know it was shutting off intermittently. And I'm like,
why did you think you had the computer?
Yeah, that's what I said when I dropped it off. You know,
yeah.
Like another 3 days. Like what are we doing? So yeah, it's been great. It's been great. You know,
easy peasy.
Yeah, you know, I was gonna do like an event final show, and I was like, okay, moving along. All right.
Your battery was dying intermittently inside as well. Okay.
It's okay. It's okay. Lots of things going on. We finally saw the debut of Vanessa, James, and Eric. Before we go that, Ashley Kane is in the hospital. So, or posted a picture of herself. I don't know if she's still in the hospital, but she did announce today that she has COVID. And she is, you know, it looks pretty serious. So, you know, wishing her well. That's not something you wish on anyone. So as someone who had COVID, it's definitely not. Of course, everyone's like, is she vaccinated? Is she vaccinated? Is she vaccinated? And we don't know. And, you know, obviously if you're hospitalized statistically, who knows? Who knows? You know what?
Who knows? Yes.
On one hand, it's none of our business. It's like it is someone's business. It's not if they got vaccinated. I feel like if you're sending someone to the Olympics, maybe the taxpayers want to know if they're vaccinated or not, but I think there's just so much social unrest. I mean, I got 1 million, in all truth, no one messaged me that I sent from all of the viewers and all of the fellow skaters. No one was like, is she okay? They all were like, was she vaccinated? Because she's from a state where it's spreading. So.
Yeah, it's hard to, I mean, and of course, the argument
I didn't post my vaccine card because by the time I got mine in April, they were already saying that you should not post it.
Oh.
So there was, and I didn't actually understand why they were saying, but there was a different rationale about posting those cards and how they could be faked or someone could take the number or something or identity theft. I don't know.
Okay.
The same thing like when they told you on Facebook, don't do the 10 or the 9-year challenge or the 10-year challenge when you put the pictures on.
Right, because they were just trying to get facial recognition.
Facial recognition, aging, right? So yeah. I was like,
oh. And yet everyone did it anyway because it was hilarious. Yeah.
Well, I saw the article, like I trust. I was like, oh, I'm not posting it. Oh.
Yeah, I didn't post it either. I didn't find it that interesting of a post personally. So.
Right. Like I think if you're one of the first people, yes.
Yeah.
By the time I got it in April, like, come on, it wasn't
old news. Yeah.
I always like about the vaccine. This is such a digression, but people always ask, like, oh, so which one are you getting? And no matter, it's like saying, are you having a boy or a girl? Oh, a girl. Oh, a boy. Oh, you're getting Pfizer. Oh, the Moderna. Oh, J&J, one shot, right? Like,
yeah. I think it just is perpetuating small talk.
Right, but it's like
Yeah.
they act as though like you have a choice. It's like,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
it's just, it should have been a conversation, man. Like, like you can't really pick it here. You don't really have an option. Like,
Right, exactly.
stab me in the arm. That is
just let me travel again. Yes, exactly.
So
yeah,
it's just mask on, mask off. I don't know. It's fine.
I have to say, like, as we sort of are back in another Corona conversation on the show, I was sort of looking at my calendar because feasibly I could attend both Skate America and Skate Canada this year. However, I am skeptical about booking my tickets, especially for Canada, too soon.
Are you kidding? If I had a choice between Skate Canada and Skate America, I would choose to go to Canada. I'm just going to lay it out to you.
Well, the field also, but yeah.
I'm sorry. Do you trust the people in Las Vegas that you're going to walk around that are like, I'm sorry, the entire time we were there, it reeked of pot so much on the street and cigarettes that I felt like I had a cold the entire time. You want to add COVID on top of that? You think the people that are going to Sin City to gamble and score prostitutes
and get wasted, yeah,
right?
Exactly.
You think they're going to be the masking crowd or the vaccination crowd? In Canada, they view things very differently. They have a real like social responsibility to be vaccinated.
I mean, I'm aiming to do both, but it was sort of the idea. I'm one who likes to like plan all that travel ahead of time.
If you want to get breakthrough COVID, you go to Skate America instead of Skate. Okay, I'm saying. All right. I'm sorry. All right.
They gotta have Skate America boosters. Okay.
Not doing it. Okay. If this Delta spreads, no way am I going into a casino. No.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna wait closer to the time and sort of like put my finger on the pulse of how it's all going.
It's hard to know because like, how long is the vaccine good for? If you got it in April, is it gonna be good in October? Who knows, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, I had a friend that got faked the COVID, so it's scary. So
yeah, of course.
Yeah. So anyway. The Quebec competition happened and it was very exciting. We got to see the debut of Vanessa James and Eric Radford. So what did you make of their debut? They just did a short program here. They were listed to do both. They were supposed to do both and then they didn't. So they will do their free program for the first time at the like basically Canadian version of Champs Camp, their high performance camp, whatever they're calling it. And then we'll probably see them at I think Autumn Classic. So what did you make of their debut?
It's sort of what I expected. I guess there were some like lovely long lines that happened. The twist happened, the throw happened, the side-by-sides happened. You know, he was a little squirrely on his triple toe there. But all in all, it was, I guess I wanted a PR team involved with like this pairs team because I feel like they have the potential to be unique and they have chosen not to be unique. Like I found this program very generic. I found it just like sort of same old. And I wanted them to embody something different than was already out there. And it's sort of the North American formula that they were given, I felt.
So first of all, can you explain why you thought that they had the opportunity to be unique and then kind of, well, let's like break this down. Because I have a lot of thoughts like about all of it, so.
Well, you know how we're always supposed to talk about how Ashley and Tim are this like tall pair because she's tall. This team actually appears like a very tall team to me. They seem so much older in a positive way. Like
it's not that tall. The pair girls will tell you, but she looks tall with her.
She does look. The aesthetic is very long for both of them, and it could create something cool. And I think just as like the two mature people. I don't know, and they're brand new and they've done, you know, they've been out of it for just a little bit. You were hoping something fresh could come out of this partnership. And the material was, they sort of played it safe. They went like kind of just be like everybody else sort of strategy. And I thought what made Vanessa and Morgan so interesting was their work with John Kerr. It was just that much different than what everyone else was doing. And Meg and Eric, because of their just overall style, they inherently always looked different than everyone else, whether it was your cup of tea or not. But like, I just like that it was something different. And this sort of was
So
just
you
like
were
another
always
one.
a Vanessa and Morgan stan, right? You loved
Yeah, I enjoyed, especially
I
their
never
like
got it. Like
programs.
I liked
Okay.
their program at the very end, but I always thought that they were smoke and mirrors. I have to be honest. I thought there were two
Yeah.
people that were being overvalued for being hot. That was my honest opinion of their.
But I think that's fair, but they banked on that and they maximized that quality by having these like mature sexual kind of like cool
They picked
programs.
great costumes, music, sound. They had
Yeah.
places who they were on the ice. But in terms of pure skating, I didn't see it. Right.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting because Megan and Eric were really criticized for their skating skills by everyone, right? And like Megan got a lot of the blame for that because she's not super flexible. What I noticed is that he didn't really trade upwards. He traded with someone that's taller, but I don't think she's a better skater than Megan. And it's like different, but for me, it was actually more glaring because they're trying to lean into a certain style, and Guillaume Cizeron choreographed this piece. And they're trying to be the artsy team, which they've sold us from their photo shoots to their interview to talking about their new energy to him playing the piano and her coming out. And they're really trying to brand them and like this is going to be the skating skills team. And we see snippets on Instagram and in very small things, they look like impressive. And Canada wants this to happen. I mean, there is a judge that messages me, and she once like asked me what I thought about one video that a skater did, and I was too honest. And then I noticed here, like she asked me, what'd you think? And I was kind of honest, and she was giving me the Canadian PR. I think Eric is a really good skater that has like a lot of finesse, and Vanessa doesn't match it. In the very beginning of the program, you could really see the difference in their two skating skills. Now they are a new team. On one hand, they're very new, but they have been skating together since the winter, since nationals, right? So, and on another hand, the international judges aren't going to care that they're new. They're getting judged against the field. So it's like, yes, they're new, but the learning curve of getting together for an Olympic year to make your debut, it's like no one cares. You're up against 3 Russian teams, Sui and Han, Pong and Jin, Mortars and Marinero, Alexa and Brandon. Like you're in a very tight field. So, and that's just the reality of the situation.
Yeah, I didn't see, them ever posing a threat to the Chinese or Russian pairs, but I am curious where they'll stack up in the North American with PCS. I don't know.
I have to say, I was surprised they didn't do the long, but the short, if you talk to people in skating, was controversially judged. So because the death spiral, there's a lot of debate about whether her head really got low enough or not, and whether or not it should have even gotten a level on the death spiral. And the judges helped them a lot, giving them 9s for the first time. I mean, that is some PR. They certainly weren't a 9 team. Granted, they both have big names. You kind of know that they're going to do this.
Well, and I think they do project, even if you don't have the blade and knee work that you're accustomed to with certain other skaters. I think that Vanessa especially was someone who knew how to sell it. So I think in person also she has projection. It's just
a very scratchy skater. There's a lot of toe picks.
Yeah, but that's different than projection. Do you know what I mean? And we can see that with the right kind of projection, the judges will go with it.
The judges know the difference in skating skills. I'm sorry. That's PR happening.
But whether they judge it or not is another story. Yeah.
And it's a summer competition, and it's the debut of the Canadian team that they want to make the top 2. They want them to win maybe Canadian nationals and then have 2 teams, because they, for them to finish second doesn't have the same cachet as if they beat Moore Towers and Marinero at Canadian nationals, then they have 2 sets of national champions to send to the Olympics, which is a much bigger deal than just having Mortars and Marinero and this team that came back. And isn't it nice that they're in second place? That doesn't seem as competitive politically, right? But for me, it's hard because they chose Guillaume, and I think Guillaume has a lot of talent and something to say as a choreographer. I don't think he's also being asked to do their first program, right? And maybe they got the short second, but first set of programs. We don't really know who they are as a team yet. So in a first year, it's really hard. Usually teams go really generic, like the Italian song that Alexa and Brandon did, not a real point of view, right?
Right.
Safe as all can be. well, you look in terms of this, they're trying to market them as the artsy team. They actually did a bunch of like upper body kind of choreography in the beginning, which we've never really seen from Eric before. And it's awkward, right? And he and Megan didn't really ever look at each other that much when they skated, and he still doesn't look at Vanessa. And that was something that was a little off in the Megan and Eric partnership. So they don't look at each other here, I noticed. And they looked a little slow at times trying to figure out their tracking and everything like that. But what I also thought was just that you can see him having a lot of finesse in the opening moves. They do some inside edges at one point in the beginning of the program, and she cannot match him. And to me, because we're being sold that this is the components team, this is the artistic team, it was really glaring to me. And the one thing, I know you hate Mortaras and Marinero, but they're known for the in-betweens. They are known for having really solid in-betweens as a pair team. And I think that if you're judging them fairly, I don't see how this can really, but then you think, okay, what if they get a million, sessions under the belt, a lot of mileage, a lot of stroking together? Can they get it all done? Yes, potentially, but I don't know if it's going to be a smooth sailing. And they don't have the Lutzes, obviously, and they don't have the huge throws. But what Vanessa does well is that throw was not very high.
But she knew how to land it. Yeah.
And that is her real superpower, is that she was like, she can be like a cat. Now, she did miss the side-by-side jumps in her old partnership, but here she landed it and he missed it, which was unusual.
Yeah.
And we saw the Canadian teams were all doing that entrance where they do it from two different entries. It's actually a bullet. It's considered a difficult entry, even though it just looks like two people that can't match their side-by-side jumps as a disguise. So it's very, it's so funny. It was like the most Duhamel Radford entrance I've ever seen in my life without them actually doing it. Like that would be something that would have been something that they would have done, and that we would have blamed Megan for loving the thing so much.
Right.
I hate it personally. I think it's really awkward and not aesthetically pleasing in any way, but it is what it is. I don't know. I was not wowed. I didn't think that they had a wow element, and I didn't think that they have a wow
look. Well, it's like you're saying, like they have branded themselves off the ice, and so I was looking forward to seeing how they were going to brand themselves on the ice, and it just sort of seemed like a missed opportunity.
The music was really awful.
It just was. It just kind of like, it was almost sexy, almost clown. It was almost a lot of things.
Than boring, right? There's nothing worse. And her dress was nice. His shirt, I think, could have long sleeves, maybe match her in color, or just have long sleeves, be black. I would be curious about that, but he dyed his hair to look younger. I didn't see. So you kind of wonder, like, they won it, but not by a lot. Why'd they pull out of the free? Would they have lost the free? Usually they're not injured. So would a team, would they have not won? And that's a risk too. You definitely don't.
Right.
Because if you're not doing the long, you're probably not ready to do all of the other things. So, and they trained with the other teams. So that was, I think,
and Julie did the long?
Julie did the long. The long is Harry Styles. But we didn't see so I don't know. But Guillaume, and the other thing is that Guillaume picks the moves, like they do a transition, they're going diagonally across the ice, and you're like, okay, that's to build a home. They're borrowing that from him, and then but we see like other teams do that transition too. That was an iconic move. But you just see like some recycled things, and you're like, okay, they're definitely trying to paint this team as this artsy, moody, whimsical kind of team, but I don't know that they
almost didn't go far enough. I felt like they needed to make a gutsy move, whatever it was. They made the gutsy move in pairing up. Some people loved the idea, some people did not love the idea. But like, now you got to own it and like dig your heels in deep and just go for like a big statement. And this just seemed like a testing the water safe move. Like you were saying, Alexa and Brandon did, but that made sense for them because they had a season before. I don't know. I think Canada's looking for the excitement that Alexa and Brandon's partnership created. And I don't know that we see that excitement yet.
And a lot of Canadians, were on board with. The other thing is that they picked, like, I don't think it's a disastrous team by any stretch of the imagination. And I do think that they seem on track to make, especially based on how the judges judge them. Yes, I think Evelyn Trent are screwed. Yes, okay. But if they're going to get 9s now, granted, now if they make mistakes in competition in the free skate or something, that's a whole other game. Then I think Evelyn and Trent have a good shot. But I do think that they're.
But Evelyn and Trent then have to be making their case the entire time as well, which is historically proven difficult for them, I
mean, I would enjoy the challenge if I could get in the right headspace of knowing that this team thinks that they're going to waltz in here the year before the Olympics and take my spot. Oh, let's go, honey.
Yeah. If it motivates you, or if you relinquish the spot already.
Yeah, that's. Yeah. But I think that if you can get your head around it enough early enough to really get the training in, that would be the difference. But I do think that obviously Vanessa and Eric have a huge advantage.
Yes. Yeah.
They've competed for so many years, each of them. So I don't see them falling apart for anything other than being like having nagging injuries or something catching up with them. I see them being in the top 2. I wasn't personally wowed, but it wasn't a bad start by any means, but it wasn't wow. It was not when you see Shannon Zhao's short program for the first time in an Olympic year, or you see this.
Right. Well, how could it have been in many ways?
The music though. I really think yes. They didn't know what to skate to, and they seemed like they went more with his strength than with hers. Maybe, and maybe they came up with it together. But
it has a somber, like, casual vibe to it. And if you're a new team and you want to make a splash, I want like a statement piece, something that has energy and like says arrival. Well, and this does not say arrival. This says retiring.
She had more energy than he did, right? If you think of what they skated to. In general, his vibe is more somber with his persona. But it just, to me, it missed the mark. I don't know. It's them with the music. It
starts with the music and the overall mood. Yeah. Because also at the end of the day, it is a competition. So when there is so much like moody ballad stuff going on, it's like, remember, like, where is your statement? Where is the standing ovation? Where are the chills? Probably not in this.
Yeah, and to be honest, their lift was very, very weak, right? For a new team. Execution, the positions were extremely basic for what we're seeing from the other teams, especially Canadians are known for really having more unique elements. You're up against Deanna, who has tons of beautiful positions and interesting lifts and interesting exits, and you're up against the rest of the world who's going to have more interesting transitions and lifts. I don't think that lift wise, they don't have a great twist. It wasn't a wow throw. He missed the toe. The death spiral was not there. So the pair spin, like, it didn't have like a real wow element yet. And they're new. So, but it's hard because they're new, but they're new in an Olympic year. So.
Yeah, exactly.
And they've been clearly put together and sold to be that they're supposed to be, wow.
Instant. Yeah.
And I don't know that that's realistic. I think we're seeing more. Okay, start. And
yeah, again, if this was all 1 year ahead of time, you'd be like, hey, good start.
Yes. If this was last year, this would be great. This would be huge, right? But this isn't last year, so it's
right.
Okay. That's what it is. I thought that Deanna and Max looked a lot better than the last time that we saw them. What did you think?
Well, it's also interesting talking about music. Both of these were like, what if we took like a really fun song from my youth and then made it menacing? Like when it was like No Ordinary Love, but it was like, but in a horror movie and like all this kind of stuff. I was like, it took me a second. I was like, oh my God, I do know this song. I love this song. This is such a scary version of it, like scary intense for both programs that must like inspire them to.
So I didn't know that I Just Died in Your Arms Tonight is about an orgasm. I had no idea that like apparently in French that means like the little death or something.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And even in Shakespearean stuff, there's that big poem, The Come Away Death. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So I didn't know that. And that just makes the program so much more fun. Right.
Right. But again, a menacing rendition.
Yeah, but the middle is really beautiful and the end is really cool. I don't love the open. Like, I think the opening to the music is actually too much, that I would actually tone it down.
Well, it's hard to start so heavy.
But it's a really cool program. The free especially. And there's a whole section in there, like, I mean, the throw that she did. She has like so many little moments that she has like the old school details. Now, granted, this is their third year skating together. So you're starting to see, their third year, and this is her 6th year in Paris. So you're seeing more improvement and they look more settled. So, you're seeing the difference of, time together. I did notice that they can do the details. Like, she has a really cool, she lands the throw triple loop and then she stands forward and just puts her like arms down. And that's like 6-0 era, like
punctuation. Yeah, exactly.
Yes, that's what they're adding. And they just, the way her back extends is very, exciting and things like that. She had to save the second throw, but if they can land both of those throws, I think that would be really strong. They're not eligible for the Olympics. They are eligible for Worlds. So I think they would be trying to get 3rd place Canadians. But think about it. You have the pressure of having to outscore them, because the judges know in the back of your mind that you are not eligible. You have to outskate everyone to make them say, wow.
Right.
You have to make them want you to be the alternate for Worlds in case one of these teams pulls out, so that you would have a shot. Because otherwise they're going to put Evelyn Trent ahead of them. And that's just the reality of the situation. So I would look at them and, quality wise, it seems like, their lifts are strong, and they have a level 4 forward outside death spiral. And that's why the position looks the way it does. And it's extremely hard and worth more points. So, they're doing some really unique stuff. I think that their lifts in the free, I thought, were really strong. I don't love the very end of the exit when she's like in a split and he's kind of dragging her, but but I thought the rest of them, I thought that they looked good. So definitely they have more quality than we've seen from Evelyn and Trent in the past, and they have more quality than like Lorianne and Larry, but I think it's going to come down to age and injuries and confidence and going out there. So, but I think that to skate that well this early on, I think is a huge plus in their corner. So I would, you're not saying much.
I'm trying to think of, like, because I personally wonder, like, what is her goal? Do you know what I mean? Knowing that
she wants to go to the Worlds. Yeah, she wants to be going.
And I don't know that the judges in Canada ever really got on board with that.
Well, she hadn't had citizenship yet, and she wasn't even an option for Worlds. Now she's an option for Worlds, right? And I think she ran into a problem where in the US, she was too old for them to like automatically buy in. Like, I think it made people nervous, and she was still new to pair skating, but she was too good for them to want her to leave. That's why it was so hard for her to get a release. And the sticking point was that they medaled out of 4 continents in an Olympic year. But it was a 4 continents where people didn't go to, right? But that's why she got held longer. So I think in Canada, you're still having the same age thing, and then you're having the release. But now that she's eligible, and at least now she has the mileage behind her.
But it's just, again, like like that attention to detail you're talking about, like so many times, and we'll talk about like the Russian test skates, which were holding my interest more than usual. But like a lot of times, even when the elements may be even more difficult, or the person may be more of a medal contender on the international stage, I still zone out. And with these programs, I was not zoning out. It holds my interest for those in-betweens, for that little moment at the end of
the menacing, she adds all that drama to the end of the lift exit.
But that pulls you in, that makes you want to keep watching, versus like something generically lovely, sort of like the Vanessa and Eric approach. I found my thoughts wandering, or, my
Lorianne and Derry have a generically lovely free, and they look like a nice team and solid, but not inherently special.
In the running,
Getting that lift up was a real struggle for them, but I think it is what it is, in terms of the team.
And then we saw Gabby Daleman.
Yes.
Same situation, right? This was also in Montreal because it looked like she was in a different
Gabby's an interesting case because Gabby is not on the Grand Prix assignment list, so she has her back up against the wall. And how'd you?
In many ways, Dave, it reminds me of a quasi Gracie Gold situation. The difference being, Gabby could still pull this off. She could still very feasibly get on that team. Now, I know you just posted, do they say Maddie or does she go by Madeline? Skeezus. Maddie.
Jesus. Yeah.
I think she's made a tremendous argument that she's going. And do they get one spot or two? She qualified them for, it is one. She finished in the top 10 in the short, but not in the long, right? That's what it was. Okay. She was in the top 10 after the short, but then kind of slipped. Okay. I mean, she seems on track, but Gabby could do it.
No, Maddie didn't have the best short last weekend, but she's going to Cranberry this weekend. And second pancake often much better than the first. And she's the gritty girl and has an opportunity to knock off some Americans, right? I mean, it's early in the season. Look, if you can get them when they're vulnerable and then you can shake confidence, Jonathan, that's when you want to really go for the kill.
Make your move. Yeah, exactly. But so I was impressed because the short here was sort of what I expected. It was the triple toe that was very wonky, the triple Lutz that didn't really work, and the double axel didn't really work. And then when we got to the free, there were some jumps. Like there were some real jumping moments, and then more of the same. But
I think she can do it. It's mental for sure, and confidence, and putting out there and having to do competitions and face yourself that will get her to where she needs to go. I noticed that her leg wrap becomes more pronounced when on the mistakes, all the element, like when she looks nervous, it almost looks like she doesn't have the timing for the triple flip, especially in the short program. It looked like that jump was like what happened with her timing, and the leg wrap was here and the jump was the kick.
But even on the axle gets so swingy and strange.
I think the axle, it looked like she threw too hard too with part of the side. I think she can do a double axel.
But that's the thing. Yeah, exactly.
It almost looked like trying too hard. And then you wonder, what are the run-throughs like compared to the competition? But I think she has incredible athleticism in her body. Jeff brought up with the short program. I thought it was a better program that we've seen for her. It made her skating skills look stronger than they've looked in the past. Overall, I thought it was a classy look for her. I thought she was going to do some sort of pop princess when I interviewed her. She kind of alluded to that. But look, they did Libre Tango. It was a very lovely, choreography. I think that Jeff did. She's repeating Samson and Delilah for the free. Probably a smart move to just go to something she's super comfortable with and trying to get really consistent. So she's an X factor. She does have wow factor when she does land the jumps. So, but I think for all of these skaters, it's interesting. When you're older, it's like, can you pull it off one more time? Can you do it for the third?
Well, and then this was the difference. For some reason, I've decided to now compare Gabby and Gracie, because we also saw some footage of Gracie practicing. And when she just whipped out that triple in the opening seconds of that practice, you were just like, whoa, she still has it. It's that special thing is still there. She's just having trouble accessing it. To Gabby, I don't see those moments of brilliance. I see moments where she just stays on her feet and some moments where she's really
She shows us wow things when we see her Instagram too, but I think for both of them, it comes down to training the full program every day without stopping. And then the sections onto it and not allowing yourself an out ever. And that gets harder for people as they get older for whatever reason. The mental games start to add up. And that's Gracie's real problem. And Gracie's always had a problem recovering in competition, but it stems from the training, and it stems from either stopping, leaving things out, or giving up internally, right? In practice. And all of those things are, habits. It's not rocket science in that sense.
Right.
So,
right.
And for some, the way they're feeling about themselves has to deal with their desire to do the program. I mean, if you've heard Nancy Kerrigan talk about it, about fear of failure was really preventing her from ever wanting to train the full program. And then that's how 93 Worlds was going to happen. Even though she was doing so much stuff, she didn't have the training behind her. But then once she started running through the program, 2 times in practice every day, bam, she showed up at Pirouette and did a great program. Bam, she showed up at the Olympics. Neither one was perfect, but she fought like hell after the mistakes. And I think that's things that we don't see from the older skaters. And when you see them in practice not do it, it's not a surprise. When you could always tell in the free skate. And sometimes it just looks like some of the skaters that maybe they don't have the same mileage. Not everything looks seamless. It looks like a shock when you do something or you land something or fall. So,
well, and that's the thing, and we'll talk about it with some of the ladies in the junior Russian test skates. Is some of these attempts that go awry, you're like, shoot, they were right there, and it just eluded them. And other times you're like, I don't think you do this ever in practice. And sometimes with Gabby, I would get that more, but this time I felt like, things might be getting closer. Things might be getting more close for her.
She is training. If she can get in a good headspace and believes that she can do it, she could be dangerous at nationals, right?
Yeah.
She does know how to throw down when I think that she's the only one outside of Maddie Skeezis who's really up for that spot.
Right.
How do I put it? I think she's the only one who could knock Maddie Skeezis off, potentially, if Gabby was in the best mental and physical shape of her life, in confidence-wise. Because I think it would take that for Skate Canada to get really on her side. But
even with a lot of questionable things, they still show up for her in trying to give her opportunities. When other programs may have let her go. He
does inherently have more potential than some of the girls that are on the Grand Prix.
Exactly.
So, and people do know that.
Right.
So, the Russians, it's interesting. Blanket statement. You can tell, even with Zhilina, that she doesn't run the program as much as the Eteri girls run their programs. Even just the way that when they land the jumps into the transition, like the pauses and different things there. It doesn't have the same seamless quality.
It also doesn't have outrageously inappropriate lyrics or bookended rolling around on the ice, which I enjoy.
Joseph's program in the free, totally age inappropriate, completely, right?
Oh, is that the Billie Eilish where she's like, "Your love was a lie," and she
no
starts
time
laying on the floor. I was like.
Okay, first of all,
this poor girl has lived a full life.
She's 14 years old. She's 14 years old. She's starting with No Time to Die, and then it switches with a horrible edit and a kick, and we go into Paint It Black, which is about the grief and loss of a loved one.
It is so. It is so. Remember, they gave Big Spender to Trusova at this age, so
we lack a gag reflex as a nation, right?
This is the piece for a mature woman to share her story, and it just felt weird.
I mean, I was surprised that they were so nice to Simone. It was shocking, right? When you saw the Verokina and Pusheka post, but they're coming out of the woodwork. Oh my God. Okay. On one hand, the post of Dina Averina losing a gold medal that she was favored to win for so long, and with the extra year with COVID, I mean, it looks like a death. I mean, they're the most heartbreaking photos you've ever seen in your life of an athlete, right? But the fact, the concept of Russia at a country losing a sport that's considered to be rigged, that most people would argue that Irina Wiener has rigged expertly for years. She's bitching about the rules being changed to this open-ended system that she pushed through and created, Jonathan.
Right.
And it literally seems like all of the judges in the world got together before the Olympics in quarantine and were like, screw Russia for once. Let's have the question.
So always in rhythmic gymnastics, they dominate.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
For the last 23, 24 years. They were supposed to go 1-2 here, and they went 2-4, and then they lost the group. No, I'm not a rhythmic gymnastics expert.
So who was first and third?
Israel was first. And,
oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, Jonathan, I want to know how much money, like, come on. The rumor is like, I mean, come on. Irina Wiener's like billionaire husband, like, did they get cheap with paying? Like, what happened? I mean, like, the kind of stuff that, okay, this is my introduction to rhythmic gymnastics, was watching the International 3-on-3 on NBC. And they're like, here's Elena Vitrichenko from the Ukraine. And Elena, and they said the Ukraine back there on NBC. Don't come for me, people, because I know that when people say the Ukraine, they go, she is from the Ukraine. And you see, like, her mother is judging her at this competition. She's also her coach. This is a very legitimate event, right? Like,
yeah, like,
what is happening?
What was even like when we went back and judged dance for 98 Olympics, and we're like, oh yeah, no wonder everybody was cheating in this system for dance. It was so easy to like wiggle around with
the kinds of scandals that have happened, like in 2001, like when Alina Kabaeva was competing, the scandals about the Russian team and the weight loss drugs they were taking, and then the judges being banned for cheating. I mean, it makes ice dance look like the gold standard of integrity. The fact that like, and Russia, of course, they get behind whenever they're winning, right? So they've gotten so behind rhythmic gymnastics, it's become, you know, a huge thing. And the fact that they lost is like, people are having the kind of reaction that they will eventually have in skating when Eteri's day comes.
Fades, yeah.
Well, because it happens to everyone, right? Like,
right.
People don't stay on top forever, right? And
right.
In the same way that they will when US, you know, doesn't have a US dance team medaling, or doesn't have Nathan anymore. People, or, you know, when the US didn't have a lady anymore, people loved it. Canada loved it more than anyone, but people really loved it, right? And yeah.
I didn't realize Russia was so dominant in artistic swimming.
Oh yes. All of our favorite sports, all of the subjective sports.
I know. I was like, as I kind of got into the artistic
swimming. You know, it's because of the ballet heritage and the zero shame about wheeling and dealing and politics and stealing people, and just, yes, they just,
and it just takes someone to get that ball
just want to win more. They just want to win more.
Exactly. Yeah. And once you've established you can, then the tradition is easy to continue, I would think.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I support it for the entertainment. Okay.
Yeah.
Rita Viter, I mean, the stuff that she's saying in the press, and how she wants rhythmic thrown out of the Olympics, and I mean, come on. This is
because they performed well, and they said that this all fell to the judges.
She basically ran the sport for years. Okay.
No, yes, but I mean, at this particular event, it wasn't that someone made an error. They were just saying the judging was suspect.
But then other rhythmic people are saying that the girl who lost won world championships where she dropped an apparatus, and they're acting about how outrageous it is that someone dropped an apparatus and won, which is what happened.
Okay, got it.
I mean, look, people don't think that Deanna looked as sharp as she has in the past. Did she deserve to win? Subjective sport.
We may never know. Yeah, okay.
You know, how much better was she inherently?
Yeah.
This code was kind of built around her strengths. So she did have a back injury, was not as amazing perhaps here as she was in the past. She won the qualifications, but it does appear the judges got ballsy. As though there were strength in numbers, Jonathan, as though they knew.
That's what I was going to say, because it's, again, back when we were doing especially more 90s events with Patreon and stuff, and we were judging, I would see myself, especially in like lower categories, really defaulting to reputation. And I was like, I don't know, this one's way more entertaining to me, but they always seem to finish 11th, yet I'm judging it against this other person who always seems to be 7th. I guess I'll give that person the benefit of the doubt. But you're afraid to sort of take those risks unless you know everyone's going to show up with you. So it's like you're saying, it had to be sort of a group effort.
The fact that they lost both.
The depth of that loss, yeah.
The girls in the group couldn't even get it together. Like, what? Oh my God. Oh. And then you have like Bullshaker talking about, Vancouver and other, oh my God. I mean, it's so incredible. Jonathan, it is like.
It triggers these games.
It triggers them, everyone else that's ever, because everyone else always feels that the Russians push their way to the top in various ways. And
yet it was interesting because, for instance, when
there's quiet laughter going on, Jonathan. There is quiet laughter, probably within their enemies within Russia, another federation.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Well, because when the Russian ladies won the team event in artistic gymnastics, I thought it was kind of cool. I thought it was kind of amazing that they burst through a slightly open door. And I think that story is amazing.
And you know that other people are really glad. Stella Uma was so freaking glad that it wasn't just the Americans winning all the time, because it's
terrible for the sport. It's terrible for the sport.
It is terrible for the sport.
Yeah, yeah. So now I have to say, I did also watch a lot of trampolining. And I didn't know with your diving and gymnastics if like trampoline interested you at all.
I mean, I've seen it. I saw the trampoline in person in Beijing. So,
well, the men's qualification here, I would say it was every other person like fell off the damn thing.
Well, like, that's great for viewers,
Yeah, I have to say, I was like, this makes it exciting in a way I was not anticipating. Someone like landed on their spotter. People were getting like mixed up in like the netting. People were out of the thing. I was like, this is.
Reminds me of when Kathy Griffin used to joke about Heather Mills being on Dancing with the Stars. Remember, she had the joke like, wait, there's a woman with a wooden leg on Dancing with the Stars.
And she wants to use the leg.
She doesn't just want the leg to fall off. She wants it to
fly into the audience during a hot kick or something. Oh my gosh.
And you're like, wait a sec. Trampoline, they're falling. And then my friend was watching equestrian and he goes, the horse died. And I was like, live on television died? Or like, he's like, no, they took it away. It got hurt and they took it to the vet. And then
yes, I did remember hearing about that.
I was like, wait, did the horse just drop on television? I was like, let me find my room.
Well, the real equestrian memory for me here is that, have you watched any of the Snoop Dogg, Kevin Hart Olympic show?
I have not. But
I know, and it sounds like it could be something cringe, like a Johnny and Tara.
Martha Stewart loves Snoop Dogg, so weren't they cooking together?
I do too. They like this show when they were watching the equestrian like stuff. It's just look it up. Just look them up commenting on the dressage. It's amazing.
No. I went to get coffee after Pilates on Friday and I thought of you because, okay, they have Food Network on your channel. There's some like hot ginger guy who's on the, it was the Tamron Hall show. He's making like red velvet cake and he's like a Food Network pastry guru. Meanwhile, he's like one of the gays in Fire Island with the abs that's like here, and we're supposed to believe that he is making and eating pastries every day.
Yeah, that's nonsense.
Someone's like fat Italian uncle. He's like, oh, I love to do this with the icing. And then I stalk him on Instagram and your boyfriend follows him. And I'm like, this is some musical theater person. That is like
performers through and through. And they will talk about that on the network. Like some of the people on Food Network are chefs first, TV personalities second, but there are probably half of them are TV personalities first. And
like, I want to watch him eat the cake. I want to watch him eat the cake and not work out. Okay. I want him to be too tired from baking that he can't go to the gym. All right. That is
bingo. Yeah.
Valerie Bertinelli, I believe that she makes all of those, things on there. Okay.
Yeah.
This guy, no. Okay. I'm sorry. All right.
Yeah. Well, that's one of my 30 Rock episodes I like so much is when Liz Lemon, Tina Fey is like, why would I want to watch? Who did Eat, Pray, Love? Was it Julia Roberts or something? Yeah. She's like, why would I want to watch Julia Roberts do that? I want to see Kirstie Alley do Eat, Pray, Love. I want to watch Kirstie Alley eat her way through Italy, not Julia Roberts.
God, I tried to read that book and I couldn't get through it. I stopped caring.
I never even tried.
It was the whitest book of all time.
Okay.
Jonathan, you know exactly what happens in that book without
having read it. Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I tried to watch the movie. It was even worse. Okay. It's kind of like I had the same reaction to Harry Potter. Like by the time of the third one, you're like, oh, so Harry's like Jesus. And eventually he's going to come against insurmountable odds. And then he's going to win at the end. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, but for me, you're talking about the books or the movies?
Both.
Yeah, what I loved was that when the movies would get different directors, so I was loving like a different take on the world.
The first two movies were like book reports. I mean, they were long and.
Yeah, I don't know. It drew me in though. I was drawn into that.
In the beginning, it was really cute, and they're saying everything, and they're having the pumpkin beer and stuff. By the third book, I was like, all right, the father's a rat or something, whatever. Okay.
Not quite, but okay. I'm actually surprised more figure skaters have not skated to Harry Potter because the soundtrack is quite good. She was ahead of her time.
Ahead of her time.
Yeah.
Although, isn't it John Williams? I don't think you like him, Jonathan.
No, we like him as a film scorer for sure. He wrote like some cello concertos and stuff.
Park, which Tanya did. You mean your favorite skater? So.
I mean, and you know what? Not bad music, Jurassic. Funny because it's about dinosaurs, but like the music is of quality.
The music would be ideal for man, but you notice that like after Tanya, everyone just stayed away from Jurassic Park. It would have been a huge figure skating staple if not for Tanya.
I know. Just we're like, we can't shake some. We just can't get back to some others. Yeah. Nobody's done Much Ado About Nothing either.
Tara did it.
Who did it?
Tara did Much Ado About Nothing. Remember, it was Sense and Sensibility and Much Ado About Nothing.
Oh, but was it the same cut? Like, did they use
not
the same
exactly,
words?
But
yeah, like that. Yeah, to me now it's almost just like Olympic highlight footage because I remember.
The best part of Much Ado About Nothing is that's the dress that broke at '93 Nationals, and then she wore it again for the Olympic season.
Or just the irony alone of someone who was implicated skating to Much Ado About Nothing.
Vern Lundquist enjoyed that as well. He made that dad joke when we were at the Olympics.
We're basically twins, me and Vern over there.
I love Vern. How is he doing? Does anyone know?
I know. I miss him. He was always...
He really took Ice Wars as seriously as you could expect a person. When you're like, was there an open bar at the event? After.
Amazing.
He really, yes.
But all to say, maybe some of these girls in Russia could have skated to Jurassic Park instead of this onslaught of like outrageously mature music.
Well, Petrosyan, the No Time to Die, Painted Black, that is up there. So
I want to ask you about her jump technique. So we know that like they always like to land, I know, well, that was a tough one, but and then they come up to do that loop. Often. So she was landing almost in certain jumps, like she was about to take off for a loop and just couldn't.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
She made a mistake on the second jump element. It looked like she was going to do a loop and it just didn't happen. Like her hip wasn't.
See, I thought I saw it a couple of times where it almost just looked like she was there and like couldn't decide whether or not to do it or something. It was very confusing to me.
I would imagine that her hip and shoulder was not properly in line.
Yeah.
I don't know. As someone who does... Dave, listen to me. Wall jump loop, land, left arm, in front, leg, in front, open, point down, up, into your loop, left arm. This is center rotation. Why are you opening left arm like this? Not. Tell me, please, why? Why you misjump?
But I feel like
this is neutral position. Never not jumping loop from neutral position. Left arm front, left arm.
Because you're saying you would land too open and then not be able to bring that left arm in. I almost wonder if she was over in, or it's like something just looks so discombobulated.
Like her hip was a little out of position to pull up into it.
Okay. You could just send her Galina audio. Yeah. Interesting. But I have to say, Zhilina, like odd girl out.
That's my bad habit on like jumps will be, Dave, you make same mistake. Remember national? Oh, lads. Oh, yes. Let's talk about how is left arm on that jump. Oh, right. Okay. This is what you love to do. You know, you have, before me, you have village coach with village technique. Okay?
It takes a village. Oh my gosh. Well, there you go.
always remember, left arm, center rotation.
Because
why are you holding the skate guard in the video when you're jumping? And I'm like, you would love to know, wouldn't you?
Because I was told to. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Amazing. Yeah, I was like, God, he just can't wait. He just like hopped on the ice and ran over. No, you're doing it for tactical purposes.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Fascinating. I have to say, I thought Zhilina looked like a pretty fierce jumper here. I thought those two quad sows and the triple axel attempt was pretty close. I just think that's a turnaround. I didn't expect that from her here.
I know. Part of me does want her to go back to eteri.
I know, but I also thought she had the classiest material in a way, because it was merely different.
But like, she seems like the best talent.
Yeah.
How long do we keep her with? Okay, I know that the mom wants to be in charge of the coaching team. We listen, without knowing the mother's credentials, seems recipe for disaster. Okay.
Right. Right. But this girl really has a thing. Now, of sort of the four main girls here, she captured my interest the most, which is interesting because in the past, Akatyeva would always pull my interest in the most.
Now, my old coach told me a story about Galina, and I've never asked Galina about this, but I believe that this story is probably true, where there was a skater with an overbearing mother. I don't know if Natasha was telling me that the mother was a coach or not, but like she was trying to stand at the boards and watch the lesson as Galina was teaching, and Galina turned to her and goes, "I'm teaching your daughter, not you." Get off the ice. Yeah,
could you imagine, like, especially, you know, when those parents then go and now think they have technical information to employ? I mean, that as an educator, that would drive me bonkers. To be like, we're doing a thing. You don't know why I'm saying what I'm saying when I say it.
I believe, you know, 100%. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yikes. Yikes.
You only make that mistake once. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Whereas the left arm you can make many times because, you know, it's involuntary at times.
Okay. It's spastic, in fact.
We go to Pilates all the time to strengthen the trapezius, okay?
Okay, okay. So you can hold it in place. Lovely.
You don't even know. All right. Okay.
I'm curious, what do you think? I sort of expected Akatyeva to have sort of a runaway moment here.
It looks like she grew, and it looks like she's adjusting to the new height.
And the axle was way short. I'm not used to that from her. She normally has a nice triple axle, triple toe, but
I do think that the jumps are still within her. It just looks like it's going to take time to adjust and get them consistent. So, yeah. Which is good for her in the long run. If she didn't grow between last year and this year, we'd all be saying, well, when is she going to grow? Then she's going to lose the jumps. The best thing that can happen is that she takes this time, adjusts, and she'll do well enough to make the Junior Grand Prix final. Whether she wins each individual event, in the grand scheme of things, not a huge deal. Obviously, Russia losing an event.
Big deal. Yeah.
But
I mean, it is crazy that these are junior ladies. We saw a whole bunch of quads, whole bunch of triple axel attempts. And like what we were saying before, like a lot of these were not successful passes, but you know they will be, or probably are happening for the most part in practice sessions.
Did Petrosyan laying on the ice like make you nostalgic for Oksana Bayul?
Which time? At the beginning or at the end?
Well, you know, Danny G loves a bookend. He loves it.
I know it couldn't be more formulaic. Like if you were like, imagine what Danny G did for someone at a Russian test skate. I'd be like, let's see, 14-year-old, something outrageously inappropriate, like textually, and she'll be laying on the ice doing some pantomime that will bookend the program. And a loss, that's what we got.
Remember, we saw Shevakova do it in her Dreamcatcher program. It's a great tool.
It's a real calling card for him. Yeah. If you will. And how do you say, I don't have her name in front of me. I don't know where the emphasis is on.
Sofia Samodelkina.
Delkina. It's on the del.
Yes.
Okay. Also lovely. Some big attempts at things, but if not succeeded.
She has Davidov, who a lot of the skating coaches like because they think that the jumps work better than the eteri technique.
She's in it.
They always just look less consistent and less, they look less, okay, they're good and bad. The eteri girls, do they all look like they're from a factory with the same exact transitions, technique, program gimmicks, costume? Yes. But they all look like they train in a factory and they deliver. So there's good and bad.
That is a part of that expected quality, yeah.
Especially the younger girls. I mean, some of the older ones get more individuality, but yeah.
Often because they arrived with it.
Yes.
That, again, that's what I'm saying. Like Zhilina pulled me in because she did 2 great quad sows, and like also her triple axel attempt was close, but the program was just the classiest. It was the most interesting. It was the most well-timed. It was the most non-cringy to me. And it was love story, and it was the most age-appropriate choice of the event.
I mean, love story.
Yeah.
Come on.
So, yeah. And I did watch the Angelika Krylova junior team that we liked.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was a nice thing to see them as well.
Kaganovskaya and Angelopol. I don't know where the emphasis and what syllable happened.
I know, exactly. That's the key for me with the Russian.
They're likely going to be the top junior dance team in Russia. They're the ones that lost to Diana Davis and Gleb, and it was a little controversial. Sure.
Well, in my opinion, it was.
They're such a Krylova team, like they scream Krylova.
Yes, which I love. I miss.
We can
again.
Hope
no one's doing that.
We can only hope that a coach that knows how to politic will one day steal them. Because
yeah, exactly. They're worthy. They're worthy of some future podium. So I'm excited to see how they do.
Yeah, I have to say, and I always love a Cucini Ave Maria. I love it so much. I just love their skating. They don't. Sometimes like the Spielbahn teams look like they train the lifts more and they train the spin more and the lifts more than the actual in-between skating. This team looks like they do the opposite. It looks like the in-between basics are all there. The other moves need some work and some more drilling, but it does look like the inherent run of the blade unmatched. Okay, the placement of the foot over the blade unmatched. They're pairing together, perfection. So, but it's going to become about those other elements. The twizzles were a little scary. I mean, it's early.
Yes, the twizzles weren't an ideal moment. Yeah.
But hopefully, they'll get the consistency and with the individual elements. But remember when we saw Avon Leeuwen and Vadim Kolesnik in the very beginning, it was like they had gotten +5s in certain elements because they really train how to maximize the lifts. And in this team, it looks like it's the opposite approach. It looks like let's have the great foundation and we'll add in the
elements as necessary. Yeah. Yeah. Interesting.
You hope for both, but you don't always get both. You hope for both.
You sure don't, Dave.
Yeah, I really loved them, and I thought that they were great. So, and there was a competition on I think it was in the West Coast. I don't know. All I know is that Ilya Malinin got a huge score, and
which is great to hear because all the talent in the world, but a couple of rough starts at some small events here for him. But obviously a tremendous talent.
Skated at his rink this week.
Okay.
And
was she there?
He's making jokes that he skates at the ice house to them, which he only visits the ice house. But he was making jokes to Ilya Malinin's parents about being from the ice house. And apparently it's known as a universally intense rink everywhere. So.
Amazing. Fame at last.
An adult skater who allegedly may take meldonium, allegedly, which,
Wait, did you just say meldonium instead of meldonium? Is that how you're supposed to say it?
I don't know. Maybe.
Oh, who knows? Who knows? Okay. Let's start there.
Mildronate. It is like vitamin for the blood vessels.
Yeah, exactly. For all those underage heart sufferers. Yowzers. Was this the competition that Alyssa was also at?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And she did well. Triple axel was under, heard it was clean in the warm-up. So that
attempting it. Whoa, yeah.
She's had a path. We've talked about, and they're trying to make the jumps more consistent, and it seems like there's always news about how is Alyssa doing. She is a gamer at the end of the day. That's the one thing about her. Granted, US scores tend to be a lot higher at these summer events than like you would see in Canada, in Quebec, probably 10 to 15.
Again, the real story is the attempt in and of itself, even more than how it was judged, you know?
Well, the fact that it was at least credible is.
Yeah.
But I was thinking that, look, she put out a solid effort. It's early in the season. Do we expect Mariah Bell to go clean at Cranberry in August? What about Amber Glenn, right? Like,
they're all question marks. I can't even make a guess.
I can't wait. I cannot wait. It's going to be so exciting. And I was really excited to see Ashley Kane go against Alexa and Brandon. I mean, Ashley Kane, they were doing like full programs in June at the beginning of the year. And then you're like, are they ready too early? Well, now obviously she has COVID, so that changes things, right? But them against Alexa and Brandon, like, I really want to see that matchup. So I don't know. You know, they were traveling. They were at a Mosier camp, so they're back. Yeah, but no, you don't know. So, but I think Alexa and Brandon have, you know, a good shot to place well here. Obviously, Tarasa and Morozov are probably, you know, going to win.
Yeah.
But second place, it's like, you know, competing against.
Although you never know.
You never know with Tarasa and Morozov.
Yeah, exactly. So. Yeah, and it was interesting to see Jessica and Brian.
Yes.
Who in, you will know better than I, but to my eye, maybe didn't seem like they have been training so much.
Right. I would think that they're behind schedule.
Yeah. I mean, sort of the same old formula, right down to the execution of the jumps.
The one thing about the Jessica and Brian program, oh my God, I was texting someone about this, so I have to find
the
it.
Short or the free? Okay.
And look, it's the program itself is lovely. I actually like the music, but the music is extremely repetitive. And it goes, we will never break. We will never break. We will never. No, never. We will never. No, never. We will never. No, never. We will never. No. We will never break. We will never break. We will never. No, never. We will never. I mean, it's freaking endless that they are. I'm not even done. We will never. No, never. We will never. No, never. We will never. No. I mean, Jonathan.
You will never what? Compete on the Grand Prix?
When people are like, why is there instrumental music coming in? That's when you have Hugo write the instrumental portion. Okay.
Right.
That is too much. You need to redo that music edit.
Never have that many numbers, right?
If I had to skate in the rink with that every freaking day, I would start yelling.
Yeah.
I would just.
Yeah.
I worked in a restaurant and they would play the same 2-hour loop of music again and again. And by the end, it was like, I dug my keys into the side. Oh my God. Will you please? But, you know, oh my God. Then, yeah. But otherwise, you know.
Same old, you know, some lovely qualities, some shaky side by sides. And
I'm excited to see with this competition. So looking at the actual field for skating, I have it up for Cranberry. I'm like super excited. This feels almost like a mini Skate America in many ways. So, and people are excited. So we're seeing, there's a competitor representing Turkey, Mariah Bell, Keilani Crane, who represents Australia, Eugenia Garza Martinez represents Mexico, Amber Glenn, Gracie Gold just added because Brady Tennell withdrew. I believe Brady Tennell's been injured and coming back. Finley Hawk, Jocelyn Hong from New Zealand, Rena Ikanishi, Gabby Izzo, Marlena, who represents Cyprus, is competing. Kitramilis, Joelle Lin, who represents Chinese Taipei. Ashley Lin represents China. Alyssa Liu, Andrea Cantu from Mexico. Taylor Morris represents Israel. Heidi Munger is a new addition. Tara Prasad, who represents Israel. Paige Rydberg, Maddie Shizis, Audrey Shin, Isadora Williams, who represents Brazil.
Oh my gosh.
Dong Yu, who are Korea, and Amelia Zingas, who represents Cyprus. Pooja Kalyan and Brady Tennell withdrew. That is an incredible.
First of all, that is epically long. That is like a world short program. But wow, with so many like names of interest. Is it this weekend or next weekend?
It's this coming weekend. I'm going. All right.
Okay.
I can wait.
Yeah, now I have to think about it. Because where is it again?
It's in Boston at the Tenley Albright Center. Are you kidding?
That's right. That's right. Free checkups, Dr. Albright. Okay.
Remember when Frank Harrell and Maribel grabbed her leg. She, the world champion. We all adored Tenley. He's the star.
We still do.
When he's like, we all adored Tenley. She grabbed the free leg of the world champion. It's how Frank clutches his pearls in that moment. It makes me pee every time. Okay. The world champion.
It's only he would think of one. Yeah, exactly.
He is our goal for when we are older. That goal, okay.
Or for now, yeah. Like
doesn't he represent like the piano teacher you want? Okay. What's up, my dear?
Yeah, exactly. And you'd be dressed well. You'd have great repertoire. Yeah. You would hold yourself to standards a lot of the other students or studios did.
Dear, she stopped her program in the ring. Stop it.
Well, she was going to be at Cranberry.
You know what Michelle did at her first competition? She went out there with dirty boots. Dirty boots. What the hell does he make of the Adelia with all the bejazzling on?
Exactly, all that puffy stuff. Yeah.
I can't do that to Frank Carroll.
Amazing.
All right. We've got Alexei Bychenko from Israel.
Bless his heart.
He's known to be a bit of a yeller in the ring, so it's amusing.
I would imagine that.
Listen, he goes full out.
Every time with mixed results.
Okay.
Yeah. Last time we saw him live was at Skate America in Vegas when he had like a surprising short program and then tanked the long.
Like when I miss jumps, I want to yell like Alexei Bychenko. Like
you wish you had that lack of a filter that you could just let it rip like he does. Yeah.
Yes. It's legendary in New Jersey. Christopher Kaluza from the Philippines, Donovan Carrillo from Mexico, Mark Gorodnitsky from Israel, Tomoki Kiwatashi, Jimmy Ma, Maxim Naumov, Yaroslav Benyot, Camden Pulkinen, Daniel Samoan from Israel, Harrison Wong from Hong Kong, and Vincent Zhou.
Wow, another lineup.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like who's going to get Noah Horn between.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think Yarrow is probably. Look, Vincent's going to probably show up to this.
Yeah, I would think he has to. Yeah.
And then he'll bomb like a Skate Canada to really keep it guessing.
Right, exactly. Because we got those Glacier Fall clips of Yarrow. And I mean, again, with like the quad flip and things like that. And he was still doing that same Elvis program. But he just seemed pretty slow.
Well, they're not. He was having I talked to Todd. And he was having boot problems, and their main goal was to run and get the stamina up in programs. So.
Yeah, that was the main thing. It seems like all the material is still there. It just needs to be revved up and go a little faster. Yeah.
But if he keeps landing those quads, and Vincent does, then you're like, oh my God, what happens to Jason Brown?
I know.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Could you imagine? If Yarrow needs multiple quads and it comes between him and Jason for the third spot, what will Phil Hirsch do? Okay.
I know. Well, we know what everyone will do. I mean, you will go with Jason. You will go with Jason.
The USFS to have a guy with quads?
Yeah, they got to. They'll give us a Jason like farewell. I am very confident.
That puts a lot of pressure on Jason to be perfect. And I would advise him to not do the quad in that moment, right?
Yeah, exactly. When you are feeling that pressure, yeah. Play to your strengths, yeah. But isn't Cranberry's like a pairs mecca, isn't it?
Oh yes. And there are like 18 senior dance teams. Okay, so it's Jessica and Brian, Emily and Spencer, the Crawfords, Alexa and Brandon, Haley Kops and Evgeny Krasnopolsky, Chelsea Liu and Danny O'Shea, Audrey Liu and Misha Mitrofanov, Katie and Nate, Jessica Fund and Josh Santillan, Smirnova and Ciancia, and then Tarasova and Morozov, and obviously Ashley Kane and Tim Leduc withdrew today. And then in the dance is, because they're combining it with the old Lake Placid event. Green and Parsons will be there.
Oh, nice.
Minura and Daniel Eaton, McNamara and Spiridonov, Chantel Carey and Andrew Dodds, Shiving and O'Donnell. Okay, we can. Sasha Fier, so that's Lila's sister, and George Waddell. Is it? I think it's Waddell. Yeah, okay, not a bad one.
And it's in Boston proper?
I'm going to tell you, Jonathan, I just looked at that list. I'm so bad. But if we're watching all of those ladies and all of the men and all of the pairs,
I know.
You need a mental break at some point, right?
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yeah, that because it's a long, I mean, that's a lot of skaters. That is a lot. And what are they going to go in world ranking? You know what I mean? Like,
That's
yeah.
18 senior dance.
It's like some of those early flights at nationals with a couple of people from the Southwest or something. Yeah.
What was it? The Coyotes game? Yeah.
Oh, I know. I just, yeah, that Arizona group that one year.
Oh my God, but I knew an adult skater who just competed there because he competes at like every summer competition. Oh my God. The Coyote, legendary club. Legendary.
Okay.
What about them? Oh my God, 2016. Maybe they live in.
Yeah, that was Minneapolis. I remember
and
that.
The coach had like the leopard with the cross. Oh yeah, it was great.
It was a whole moment. It was a whole moment. And they had a distinctive style.
She had the red hair, and it looked like the girls had never landed triples before. Oh yeah. So,
yeah, but must have had a killer sectionals.
Iconic. Oh
yeah. Yeah.
Good for you, Cinderoo, making that first national.
You'll always have this. Yeah.
I remember running into a skater who shall not be named in the elevator and being like, that first group. Not what you'd expect at a nationals.
Yeah. Yeah, it happens. But I mean, and again, Cranberry sounds like it's a mixed bag of like some really amazing talents. And I'll say a lot of people I have never seen or heard of before. So it'll be kind of interesting.
I'm excited. I'm ready to go. All right. And there are other, like, I have friends competing because there's the Cranberry Cup and then there's the International. And the Cranberry Cup has like Sierra Veneta and our friend Imogene. Oh, yeah. So. Okay.
Cranberries for everyone. Just huge skating weekend coming up. It's going to be fun. As we segue out of this,
my friend is a member of the Skating Club of Boston, and they send out emails like every day about this event. He's like, "Oh, well, it's going to be $10." Oh,
but this is going to be huge.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah, it's quite the lineup.
I can't wait. Yes.
Yeah.
It's good. You know, originally I had this moment. I was so burned out covering the Olympics, and I was like, "Oh my God, skating's about to start, and we're going to get people yelling about us about the Russians."
Yeah.
Nathan versus on. I literally wanted to crawl in a hole and die, Jonathan. I was like thinking about the YouTube comments coming in. Now I'm starting to get excited. All it took me was seeing the first Quebec summer competition, and it rubbed me back in.
And you're in. You're right back in it.
I went to Asbury Park for 2 days. I'm like, all right, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, that looked lovely. Jealous. I want some.
Asbury is the best mix of like bougie and trash. And like artsy. It's, oh my God.
Fascinating. Yeah. Yeah. Seems to draw an eclectic group.
Not for the Jonathan Byron types. Okay.
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah. Why not?
Can you swim?
Can I swim? Yes. Well, you know the place in Philly where I
never seen you in a pool. I have never seen a picture of you at a beach. I have.
No, now you're talking about something else. A photo of me in a swimsuit. That has nothing to do with me being.
I don't know that I've ever. I think you went to Hawaii to do like an opera once or something, but I don't.
Yeah. Well, the place in Philly, I always say, it has this magnificent, really warm saltwater pool. So I would swim in that thing like every day when I was living in Philly. That was incredible.
Why do I picture you with like a swim cap? No,
wait, like the gelatin, like they have in the artistic
like
story.
An Esther Williams film, like
it's like a cape, redoing the Grey Muppet Caper water ballet with Miss
Happiness,
So funny. And that was an incredible, like, that's what I thought, like, and maybe this is just a layman question, but when I was watching a lot of these original and creative approaches to an artistic swimming program, routine, whatever they call it, I thought like,
too.
But why not lean in? I'd be like, let's go old school and do 100% Esther Williams right now. Like, let's
That's
go old
what-
Hollywood
What the
glam.
people want. They want the Miss Piggy number. That
It
is.
is. There, yeah, some of these were like, and this is the existential struggle between good and bad within, and you're like, oh, come on, just give me some like old, like Ziegfeld Follies kind of flair.
Why don't they let that Bill May in it? He's tried forever.
They talked about it because I thought the commentator for artistic swimming was very good. And she was talking about how they're the only sport that's restricted by gender, like that they do it at the Worlds. And she mentioned him and she was like, let's get going. Like, what is the holdup?
Oh my God. There was a documentary on PBS about that coach in the US. Such a gem. Such a gem.
See, a US isn't any good.
Excuse me. The US won in 1996, and they did a program for the orchestra where they represented all of the different musical instruments, and it was iconic. And it was and they had big treble clefs on these like shiny purple, and their hair pieces were like sparkly treble clefs. Oh my God, Jonathan, it was a moment, okay? Because you
Travel
know
in the pool.
their legs did the strings.
Oh, get it. Okay.
Look it up. It happened. It was fabulous. Okay.
Yeah, because they weren't even like anywhere near the mix for the team and the duos that I was
Russia
watching.
came in and they never left, honey. Oliver.
Yeah.
Cool.
Also Ukraine, and I kind of like the Spanish.
Ukraine,
guys.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was lovely. So
Yeah.
Japan didn't have a great outing here in artistic swimming. That was sort of devastating in both.
I feel like people had more of an appreciation for artistic swimming this time around. They seem to be
I have to say they brought it. There's something, the part that's like kind of scary, weird about it is when you see them and they've got the nose clips and you're not really designed to see all of that so up close, like in a camera. It's not designed for that. But then when they like snap into the opening position and then do all that weird walking, I'm like, you took me out because it looks so like artificial and strange. I don't know why it has to be that way, but whatever. But the programs were interesting. I was always genuinely interested, where sometimes in the past, like I may have watched and giggled, but I wasn't giggling. Like there was some really cool stuff they were doing. Yes, I watched the Chinese girl, the 14-year-old.
Yeah.
I was like, this is insane. And again, I don't even know really what I'm watching, but you know when you're seeing something great. And
But
you're
did
like,
you appreciate the commentator? My favorite
I love her.
obsessive compulsive queen, Cynthia Potter.
Yeah, but she gives the compliment when it's due.
She does, and she tells us
Yeah.
when sliding past vertical when she would
Yeah.
give a 9.5 or a 10. Oh
Yeah.
my God, the men's platform file. So we stayed up to watch it, and it was like 4 a.m. Me and my friend fell asleep right during the final dives. It was so hard.
It's too much. Yeah. Well, was that the one where the redheaded American guy was diving?
My boyfriend Angelo Capobianco. No,
Yeah, cute. Yeah, but she was the one that I love when a
this was the
commentator
one with
would.
Jerry Windle, the one that has the gay dad, and he.
Oh, okay.
And then
Okay.
he was adopted from the orphanage in Cambodia.
Okay. Oh, yes. I do remember.
And then I don't know, Brandon, the white guy who's just there. He didn't have an interesting backstory that we learned about.
So we don't care. Yeah. Okay.
He wasn't a cute ginger. He wasn't like plucked from
Okay.
poverty.
What are you? Yeah, exactly. Except an Olympic athlete. Yeah. Incredible. But I am encouraging you, Dave, to go watch some of that Snoop Dogg, Kevin Hart stuff. They delivered, especially on the equestrian. And they do a little bit of synchronized diving commentary as well.
Well, and I, keep your left arm front. Pull into that loop, Jonathan. Okay.
And look sexy.
Hold it edge and look sexy. Bye.